Hi, I'm Ian. Welcome to Khali Yoga Center. My student today is Chauncey, and we are breaking down half moon pose, which in Sanskrit is Ardha Chandrasana. All right, let's get into half moon pose. So the structure of the pose here is that Chauncey's standing on one leg with a hand supporting and his opposite arm and leg up in the air. And then the alignment is his standing foot is pointing straight forward, his hips are stacked open, and his shoulders are stacked open. There's a straight line from the top of his head out through the back heel, and another straight line from his bottom hand up to his lifted hand. And then the energy here, Chauncey's pressing down into the standing foot and pulling up into the standing leg. He's drawing into the center of the core and expanding out in all directions from center. He's got his shoulder blades gliding together on his back, opening the front of the chest, and his extension through the center line is going out. Awesome. Now, some places that half moon, the alignment can get a little off here is often when people, the thing that I see most often coming into half moon is that people will dive their bottom hand down to the ground, and it often comes real close to their standing foot. So a couple things happen here. If you get here, I'm going to take the block away here, Chauncey. If you bring the hand all the way down to the ground, and when it's close to the bottom foot, you can see that the underside of his torso here crunches in, so there's this compacting here. So to correct for that, we're going to bring that bottom hand forward a bit so it's stacked right under the joint. You can see that already starts to affect the rest of the pose. And then with a block under the bottom hand, then that'll lift up a bit more through the chest and he can get even more openness on the right side of the body. Then peel the left shoulder open. That creates this expansion through the chest versus that collapsing down that happens when the hand is all the way down and too close in. Now, another misalignment that happens often is in the standing foot. Often as we come into half moon, the heel will kind of pop out behind the toes, so the leg creates this internal rotation, and then that takes away from the opening of the hips that happens. So to correct for that, we're just keeping the bottom foot on true north and pressing into the foot, the ball mount of the big toe, the outer blade of the pinky edge, and the center of the heel, creating this powerful foundation to then peel open from. And then moving up into this shape, often the back leg will lose energy here. So it'll kind of droop down and this hip kind of rolls in, you can see. So to correct for that, we're going to push through the back heel and flex the foot. And you see naturally the leg lifts when you give it some energy. And then that way, Chauncey's top hip can peel open some more. And there's this bigger expression available from here. And then the last thing that often happens in half moon is this top arm will kind of splay back behind the person without the shoulder integration. So instead of the top arm just splaying back, we're going to rotate from the center. So you can see Chauncey's left shoulder is peeling open, and he's got this whole spiral of the chest opening open toward the sky. Now, there are a few ways we can get creative with half moon. And we already talked about the block, which is really the biggest tool that I offer folks to help support the pose and work the alignment so you're stacked and open. And another way that you can work with it is to not use the block, but if Chauncey comes into the pose and works balancing half moon where his bottom hand isn't going to touch the ground, but it's going to hover off the ground with a reaching up through his top hand. So he's got still that length on the underside of the torso, the stacking of the joints and the opening up, just with that added challenge of not having the hand on the ground. I said not having the hand on the ground.
It was like the play in the hover.
That's great. And then another way we can get playful here in half moon is that we can work with a bind. So I'm going to give Chauncey the block down here for some added stability in the foundation. And then with that added stability, he can bend his top leg and reach for the back foot. Sometimes bending the standing leg will help get a little bit more of a grip there. Good. Now with that grip, now start to peel the chest open. You kick the foot into the hand. It's almost like a dancer's pose here where you're pulling back. And we call this one Ardha Chandrasana Chapasana. All right, you good? You still alive?
Yes, I'm good.
All right, thanks for joining us for Half Moon. And check out some of our other Khali Yoga Center online videos for pose breakdowns, alignment stuff, and other great tips.